Well, hello everybody. This is the recording for the web design live session. Unfortunately, when I did the live session last night, it combined with the previous session that I had, and my internet went down. Uh, Long story short, the recording didn't work out like it should have. So I'm going to go ahead and do this recording as if I had students in here, similar to what I did last night. So this is essentially what I did. So taking a look at this, just a few things I had the students talk about, what issues have you had in school the last couple weeks. And the main issue students have had is that they're having a hard time getting the work done because they have more classes than they had last block. I had a student in one of my earlier sessions, she said that what helps her is she has a weekly to-do list. So she writes down everything she has to do for the week, and she gets it done by the end of the week. Well, I challenged her a little bit and I said, and that is a good tool. However, if you put it like it's a weekly to-do list, then that gives you until the end of the week to do it. Wait till Saturday and Sunday. I much prefer students to use a daily to-do list. So I recommend that. As an example, I use a daily to-do list. So at the end of each day, like in the evening, I'll get a piece of paper and I'll write down what do I need to do tomorrow. So maybe it might be record a web design lesson recording. Call 10 of my students who haven't logged in yet. So I write all those things down and then I do those the next day. So I recommend to you have a daily to-do list for the work you're going to do and the exact time of the day. Like I'm going to work on web design from 1 until 2 o'clock and complete the write-up and the quiz or something. So you be specific, and I guarantee if you do that and you stick to that, you're going to do so much better than having a broad list for a whole week or having no list at all. So think about doing daily lists. Hopefully you've had some successes in this class. Of course, you haven't done too much in this class so far, and hopefully you haven't had many issues. Well, here's a little cartoon about computing in general. I've used it for all 3 of my classes this week, but the computer says, can't you do anything right? And the man says to the computer, can't you do anything right? Well, that's how it is with designing web pages. What we create on the web page is what gets shown online, what gets shown if people look at our web page. So we have nobody to blame except ourselves if what happens with our web page isn't what we wanted to happen. The computer has nothing to do with it. We just tell the computer what to do. So think about that as you do your web page, is that what you're producing, what you're making, is going to show up on the screen. So you want to make sure that it's the right stuff. A few reminders. Proper subject lines in Kmails. So I'm going to go down here. If you look in the chat box, the proper subject line needs to have the name of the course, so web design. So you put the web design. So pretend this is a Kmail I'm writing. Web design, and then I need help with invitation assignment. So you type in the help you need, so then when I go to read the email, then I'll know what to expect. So don't just type need help. So this right here would be the proper subject line, or you can even have more detail in the subject line if you want, but it really needs to have the name and the help you need and the assignment. This should actually be please clarify invitation assignment or something like that. But anyway, you can see the main point of it. But tell me what class you're in and let me know what help you need with whatever assignment is. That's the subject line for Kmails. A few other things that have been happening that I want to make sure we get resolved. Named properly. You have to do proper exact file names, particularly as we have web pages that link to images, web pages that link to each other and things like that. You have to have the file names exact. So please be careful on file names. Assignment directions announcement. So I have an announcement called assignment directions, and it'll have videos that show you how to do the work. Makes life much easier for you. And some students have done the work for this week already. They said those announcements, those recordings helped them quite a bit. Assignment samples. I'll give you screenshots of some of your assignments that you do. So you'll be able to make yours, or know that yours need to look similar to what that sample screenshot is. A few other things here. Recent student questions. I have an announcement where when students send me a question, if I feel it's a question that will help all students with the answer, then I will post that. I'll show you that announcement. Finally, do all the unit work before you go in to do the exams or quizzes. I had one student that she said, hey, I'd like to get all the quizzes and exams done for the course. Can I do that now? And I wrote back and said, no, wait till you do work for the unit, because you might actually learn something that can help you with the quiz. So please keep that in mind. Okay, the work for this week. You can see the write-up you have to do. We have an invitation assignment, and there's a recording for that in the assignment directions recordings. Then you're doing a webmaster role assignment, and you're doing that from a template file. And I've had 2 students submit that already, and they said the template file really helped them, and it worked out really well for them. And I'll explain how this works. And they also have an assignment directions recording for you for that. So this week is not too daunting. Not too bad this week. Here's a neat image about web page designs. You can see all these people working on a .com web page, right? Yeah, I'm going to go in and share my desktop. Actually, I don't need to share the desktop because we're not live. So actually, I'm just going to go in and jump into the web design course. So here we go, web design course. So week 2 work, here we are. Those couple of announcements I talked about. Assignment samples. So I'll provide the assignment samples, the screenshots of what your work should look like. Assignment directions, you can see from last week I had those 2 assignments done. This week I have an explanation of the invitations assignment, and here I have an explanation of the Webmaster Roles website assignment. Those will help you do the work. Recent student questions. You can see there's a question right here, and there's my reply. Always go here because sending KMail, if you send me a KMail on Friday evening or even Friday afternoon, I may not get to it till Sunday. I might have to actually take a weekend off. So I won't answer your question. So go see if other students have answered the question or asked the question. And that might make things easier for you as far as getting your answer immediately. So elements of design HTML unit. Here we are, and you can see this is broken up into 2 weeks. So week 2 is just the first few parts of it, and then week 3 is going to be next week. So for this week, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and look at the assignment. So the invitation assignment. Now on the invitation assignment, what you're doing, this is the actual assignment. However, it starts back here at part C. At part C, you follow all these directions, and my recording, my assignment directions recording, shows you and tells you how to do all of this. But what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Unit 2 folder. You're going to make a folder inside that called Invitations, and you're going to make a folder inside that one called Images. So you're going to actually end up with this path within your Unit 2 folder, an Invitations folder and an Images folder. Then they have you right-click on this. You're going to save. This is an image of a cowboy. They're going to have you save that image. And instead of saying save link as, it might say save target. So you'll right-click on that, save target as, and you save that image right exactly into this location with that exact file name. Do not change the file name. So you're going to do that. You're going to save that picture. Then you're going to open Notepad, and you're going to take this coding, all this coding down here, and save it in Notepad. So highlight all that stuff. Even though this doesn't look like it's highlighted, it is. It just happens to be blue writing. So you highlight that all, hit copy, then you open up a Notepad program, paste it into Notepad, then you save it in your invitation folder as index.html. That's the exact name. So now you have that saved as index. Then you're going to go in here to part E. In part E, you open up that index file in Notepad, and you're going to go in and make changes to this to make it your own invitation. And I give you all the directions, and you're going to save it as invite2.html, and you're going to submit to me your zipped Unit 2 folder. As you go through the work in this unit, it will show you how to zip, and I actually give you the directions on how to zip all that. So that's the invitation assignment. So if I go back to Course Home and go down here to Assignment Directions, this invitations assignment, this tells you everything you need to know to do this work. I want to show you an example of what a student did. Let's see. Here's what one of your fellow students did. So here's the index page. There's the one you start off with. And then you convert that. Go back to where we were here. And you end up converting that into this. So you can see she did hers as a pizza party. So you end up changing your file. So that's what this assignment is all about. That's what the invitations assignment is all about. So that's the invitations assignment. The other assignment you have for week 2 is Webmaster Role website. So what you're taking is the Webmaster essay from last week and you're converting it into a web page. Now on this, if I go to the direction, don't follow these directions because I've given you a tool to help you. If I go back here to Course Home and I go to week 2, it says download the template from the doc sharing area. So you're going to go up here to doc sharing. Here's the template file. And this is a text file. So you're going to use this text file that I've created for you to do this Webmaster Role website work. So I'm shorting out the work you need to do here, making it a little bit easier for you, a little bit more understandable. So you're going to be working. Is the recording shut down? So that's all I have for you. So in week 2, what we did, you have the write-up for the week, you have the invitations assignment, watch the recording and the assignment directions announcement, you have the Webmaster Role assignment, you're going to download the template. So there's the template you're going to use, and you're going to use the template along with the original Webmaster Role essay that you did in week 1. And the recording I have in the assignment directions shows you exactly how to do this work. And the students that have turned it in have gotten 100% because they watched the recording. So assignment directions recordings are right here. So that's all the work I have for you. I look forward to your work coming in. And please just take your time on this work, and it'll work out perfectly for you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.